All right. Thank you. I appreciate that reminder. You think again, I would still remember, but I don't. All right. So very cool. So I tried something else. Create a visual infographic about luxury shopping trends from 2022 to 2024. Maintain a subtle black and gray color palette and simple plain typography. I thought I'd give it even more like specific prompts. Look at this. That's cool. I mean, it's basic, but it talks about the trends of luxury shopping trends. I could, I mean, at least it's a baseline, and then I could redesign this if I wanted to, right? So the one thing that I found is that sometimes just concepting the infographic can be a little hard. You're like, how can I do this? It's just blah, 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 right? Well, at least this is a good baseline right here that it can give me some general information. Then I could take this and redesign it. So that's super helpful. And then next, this is fun. Can you make this into a vintage McDonald's ad? So this is, anybody know what show this is from? The Apple TV show Severance. So I went, can you make this into a vintage McDonald's ad? That's pretty cool. That's real wild, even though it says Big Mag, which I thought also was funny. But how cool is that? It's wild, man. Super wild. And
I have
look,
a
this is,
question.
yeah, go ahead. Minnow,
Wait, what do you say?
I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
No, I said, is this the free version of ChatGPT or you pay the $20 a month?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I might pay. Let's see here.
Because I know, like, if you have the free version, you only could generate like three, four pictures. Can't do a
Gotcha.
lot.
Yeah, let me see here real quick. Yeah, I got the Chat GPT Plus.
Okay, so you do pay for it.
Yeah, I do. So, you know what I could do is right here. I could go describe what you want to add. Give me three more options, but add more people. Okay, is it doing it? No. Weird. Hold on. Um, let's try it here. All right. Give me three more options and add more people in the ad. Weird. Wonder why. Let's see here. Let me refresh. I don't understand why it's not letting me do. Huh. Well, anyways, I'll have to. I don't know why it's. Oh, look at this too. You can add. You could do a select. So watch this. Um, remove. Still not doing it. I don't know what's going on here. Well, anyways, I'm not going to waste our time. But it is kind of cool because they've added this select tool, and then you can add, remove, or replace. But for some reason, my Chat GBT right now is not letting me do it. So, well, some pretty cool updates. Um, I suggest you give it a try. Give it a try. It could help you out with your next project too. All right. So let's move over to this. And give me a second. I'm gonna change my window. Get set up here, and we're going to get into this stuff. All right, so I'm just going to do a quick recap of what we covered yesterday or Monday. Sorry, we covered social media and a lot of the differences between responsibility around social media. I told you, if you get a chance, watch The Social Dilemma. We talked about the difference between feeds, stories, and reels, and just a lot of examples. Sizing, these are the standard sizing between the different social media. So if you're creating content, this is what you can follow. And we went through paid versus organic and the differences between awareness, engagement, lead generation, what makes them successful, and then just a bunch of examples here. So all the way through these, some that I've done recently, went through that, and then we talked about our final assignment. So we know that our final assignment is due today. I also reminded everyone that if you hadn't completed the previous assignments within this project, that those are all due today too. And if you're resubmitting, I also said that if you're resubmitting, you need to notify me that you resubmitted so I can go back and regrade it. So that's up to you to notify me that you resubmitted. All right, I think that's all pretty clear. Okay, questions, anybody? Nope. All right, we're going to get into the introduction of our next project. And our next project is the e-commerce website. So right now, we're just going to do an introduction of what e-commerce websites are and the fundamentals around them. And then the actual next assignment for this project. So our outline will be, the lecture is the e-commerce introduction, like I mentioned. The assignment is going to be to do a creative brief, a competitor analysis, and mood boards. Everyone has already done these in our prior project, so you understand what is accepted and the formats that I've already previously given you. So if all you got to do is follow the same format that we did in the prior project. So it's the same type of creative brief, it's the same competitor analysis format, and it's the same mood board format. Okay, we're not reintroduced, we're not changing the process, we're not changing the format, just apply it to this new project. So one of the things that you're going to be doing is you're going to be and we'll get into the details around it, you're going to be coming up with a hypothetical e-commerce brand. And again, I'll go through the details around that later in this lecture. All right. Whoops, I didn't update my quote. That's all right. I'll do it later. So what is e-commerce? E-commerce websites are online stores that facilitate buying and selling products or services over the internet. So remember that. Look at that. I'm already doing the Apple Vision Pro. So remember, it can be buying products or services. So don't think that you just have to do an e-commerce that has like these products on it. You could come up with a hypothetical one that's selling services as well. And that's the reason why I showed this one here, Minneapolis Glass Company, because this is a type of e-commerce site, because they're not only selling product, but they're also selling services at the same time. So I thought that was, and I did a redesign and rebrand of this particular company out of Minneapolis. So, okay. Types of e-commerce. This is important for everybody to remember and pay attention to, because you're going to hear about this a lot, and you have to choose which one it is for your project. Are you going to do a B2C, business to consumer? You're going to do a B2B, business to business, Or are you going to do a C to C, consumer to consumer? Or can it be both? There are certain companies like Minneapolis Glass that I just showed you that do two things. They do B2C and B2B. So they sell to businesses and they sell their services to other businesses, but they also offer their services and their products to regular everyday customers. So the B2C is businesses selling to individual consumers, B2B, businesses selling to other businesses, and then C2C transactions between customers. So it is important to clarify what you're focusing on for your project and what your e-commerce site is used for. E-commerce experiences mirror traditional brick and mortar shopping experiences. So what that means is, right, it's a shopping experience either for services or products or both. And you need to think about it in a certain way, like depending on the type of brand and product and services, what is the shopping experience like? Are you selling Rolex watches? Or are you selling cars? Or are you selling glass? Or are you selling whatever? You could be selling chocolates online. So those are things you just need to consider in the theme. So some different things that are traditional for e-commerce sites are landing pages. So these landing pages can mimic what you think a storefront could be like, right? It's a little bit like, when you walk up to a storefront, you kind of get this essence of what the products are like, considering the window shopping experience. You could be coming through and you could be just window shopping and passing by, but it should grab your attention. And maybe it's just showing off the product, or maybe it's showing off what a sale is, right? Maybe there's a flash sale, and that might even be in a real storefront. Like the window display over on the left could have a big like banner and typography that says, "Come on in, we're having a 48-hour flash sale." Like it would be very similar. A category page would mimic like a store interior. So when you walk in, you consider, okay, now you're starting to see product on the shelves and things like that. So, you might see product on mannequins. It could be the same thing within your e-commerce site on the category page where you're starting to see product and you're seeing product on maybe people and things like that. So, these people can represent a theme, a vibe, and the product. Product page. So now you're about 3 levels deep. So imagine the landing page is the storefront, level 1. The category page is level 2. And level 3 is the product page. So now you've gone 3 levels deep. And that's pretty standard that those are the different levels that you're getting into. And I'm sure you all have experienced a type of e-commerce site. So I'm going to pause because I can tell a lot of people are listening, but I bet a lot of people are also working on their project because I know that's what you do. Pause. Everybody, stop what you're doing. I want some volunteer. I'm going to call. Actually, I'm going to call on some people. Let's see. Precious, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Precious.
Hi.
Do you have a favorite e-commerce site?
Um, no, not really. I
Do you ever shop online?
I definitely shop online, but I don't really have a favorite.
Okay. What was the last e-commerce site you remember shopping at?
Think maybe Finish Line.
Finish Line. Okay. I'm not familiar with that. Let's see. Finish Line. Oh, okay. Right on. So it's shoes. And what do you most like about shopping on this website? Why do you shop on this one versus other ones?
I think it's convenient. I like how they showcase their shoes on the homepage.
Great. Yeah, it's very clean. I couldn't agree more. They get you right into your big feature area, which is really snazzy and kind of sexy looking, right? Kind of getting you excited about these themes of the shoes. And then they have a very, very clean, intuitive, big mega nav, this large nav up here that they're keeping. And then they also have this little banner space up here. It looks like for sales. When you go down, it's a very intuitive navigation, and then they get you right into shop by collection or shop by brand. What do you normally shop by? Do you usually shop by collection or brand?
Either by brand or by gender. I shop for my sons on there all the time.
Oh, you do? Great. Okay, I'm curious. What's your favorite brand?
Adidas.
Adidas. Right on. Right on. Okay, cool. Great. This is a great e-commerce example. It is. It's very clean. It's very intuitive. I can imagine, if we resize to mobile, look at that. It it resizes really well, and I can scroll super fast between these different categories right up here in the main nav. So it's I would say the responsiveness of this is spot on. Like it works very well. Okay. Joish, are you there?
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Tell me about a favorite e-commerce site or one that you've shopped at recently.
Let me think. Zoomies?
Which one?
Zoomies, if you're familiar with that one.
Zoomies. Is it Zoomis?
No, Zuimes, I think.
There it is. Clothing accessories, that one.
Yeah.
This one, okay. Cool. All right. So tell me about this. Why do you like shopping here?
I guess like the brand I like the brands like Santa Cruz, Primitive and many more stuff in there.
Okay. Okay. I noticed that their format isn't too different from this one where they're hitting you with, of course, a large feature area. The only difference is it's static. It doesn't rotate like Finish Line. Finish Line has a much larger feature area that is a carousel between three different category, promos or whatever. They are trying to push you to their app, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so they have this big banner that they're telling you, it's better in the app. That's kind of unique. And then they get you into brands, like they're pushing you to the top brands. But then again, I don't know, like maybe I'm getting a slightly different shopping experience than you would. Maybe like because a lot of these e-commerce sites buy information from Google and some of these other companies, right? They may end up, excuse me, slightly changing what I see versus what you see. Because if you're Precious and you come here and you love Adidas, but let's say, Josh, you love Nike, maybe, you might get Nike up here versus Adidas. So there are e-commerce sites that do that. And so I want everybody to consider that when they're doing their e-commerce site, that when you're targeting your audience, you can actually have targeted information, especially on the home page, that could change based off of shopping habits. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's a good one. Yeah, this one hits you heavy with a lot of lifestyle up front. Super cool. Mara, are you there?
Yes.
How about you?
I don't do a ton of online shopping, but when I do, it's sadly is mostly Amazon.
That's okay.
So
I do too.
it's terrible.
It's or is it?
I don't know.
You can see my shopping behavior right now, right off the bat, which again, I talk about like, especially if you have an account. So let's say, hey, Precious, let's say I don't know if you have an account that you've already created with, because they say account here. And then also, Josh, like if you also have an account, which most people, if this is your, the place you like to shop at the most, you probably have an account. So it's the same thing with Amazon. If I had an account at Finish Line and I'm Precious and I come in, they may hit you, Precious, with a special deal on Adidas, like a vintage line that they already know your size, right? So they may go, hey, here's this one of a kind Adidas sneaker, and we know you got your size, and we're going to hit you with that right up front. So it's the same thing with Amazon, and that's where Amazon does it very, very well. They know where I left off, of course, look at all my dog stuff, what I can keep shopping with, and then continue shopping right here. And then basically suggestions based off of my stuff. You can see what's in my cart, all this blah, blah, blah stuff. A lot of dog balls because my Paloma went through a lot of dog balls before I found the right one. And so just, custom shopping. I couldn't agree. Like, I think Amazon overdoes it. Like, I would never keep scrolling through their homepage. It's just overkill. If I was really to like make suggestions to Amazon, I would base this homepage off of what I constantly do, not just shopping. So for me, Mara, I watch a lot of TV and movies off of Prime. So why not hit me with both of those things? Why not hit me up with some shopping stuff, but also some Amazon Prime stuff here too, instead of all this garbage around over shopping? So if I was to kind of come in and make suggestions for Amazon, I would make suggestions based off of everything I do with Amazon, not just shopping. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have a volunteer or should I call on somebody again? Anybody else? Maya, great. Thank you. How about you? Where do you like to shop at?
I don't know if this is considered e-commerce. Would like restaurant websites be that? Since it's like a service?
If they're selling product, or if they're selling a service like private dinners or events and things like that. But normally, restaurants don't necessarily fit into e-commerce, but they can. Like I said, they can if they have products that they're selling. So, if there is this restaurant, or let me show you this new one that I'm hoping that we're going to get. This new client. This is called, and technically they are kind of e-commerce, but they also have a restaurant and bar. So get this. Oh, come on, man. Click. Hide this. Click here. And then let's see. It was it was vintage, like vintage garage sale. Here it is. So check this out. These guys, I just spoke with the owner and founder today, and we're going to talk to them about rebranding them and redoing their site. So these guys are e-commerce, but they're interesting because they not only are e-commerce, but they also are a bar and restaurant for Maya. So yeah, like you could be a hybrid. And these guys are a perfect example of being a hybrid. So they have, right? They have bar menus, but then you can also come in here and do some shopping as well. So yes, you could be a hybrid restaurant shopping experience if you do it right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. But again, like in most cases, I would say just about every e-commerce site out there tries to get you to create an account. So that's a really important aspect of your project, is to create a profile or account. All right, so now that we got enough engagement here, I think I appreciate the sharing. A checkout is also necessary for e-commerce. And so that checkout could be in different forms. If we pop back over to, let's say, finish line, and I'm going to come here and I want to do Adidas Originals. And I'm just going to go, wow, it's real slow right now. I'm going to click this guy. Women's, I'm going to buy some of these for my wife. I'm going to say she is, as soon as this loads, get rid of some of these other ones. She's I think a 9. And then I'm going to add to bag. So now I want you to understand that's a different language that is common with a lot of e-commerce sites that you're shopping for clothing. So it doesn't say, if I go back to Amazon and I go buy, I'm going to buy this again, add to cart, right? So look, you see how Amazon says add to cart, where Finish Line says add to bag. It's just a mental and visual thing that when you're going, I add it to my bag, it feels a little more like a retail experience when you say my bag versus my cart. So consider those subtleties in language for your shopping experience. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to view my bag. And this is a standard registered checkout right here. So I only got one shoe. They're asking me if I got a coupon here. I can proceed, or I can immediately sign up to save for later, blah, blah, blah. But this is a pretty standard checkout. All right, next. That completes those pages. And the reason why we went through those pages is because those are pages you're going to be coming up with in wireframing out and designing. All right. So next, conversion rate. Conversion rate is the percentage of website visitors who complete a desired action, such as making a purchase or signing up for a newsletter. It measures the effectiveness of a website in turning visitors into customers or engaged users. So when I get this, let's see here, garage sale vintage, we're going to be talking about conversion rates. And we're going to define up front in our strategy what is measurable for our conversion rates. So he may say, well, of course, to buy things online, but also the conversion rate would be how many people are booking events? How many people are signing up to be a wholesaler or a vendor? Those are conversion rates. Or conversion rate, book an appointment. So all of these different things are certain levels of conversion rates that we need to identify for an e-commerce experience. So the conversion rate for e-commerce is typically around 3%. You go, wow, that's really low. It's tough. Sometimes it's even tough to get 3%. Strike a balance between brand experience and conversion optimization. So, can anybody tell me what sort of that means? What is the balance between brand experience and conversion optimization. Anybody? Shaver, you there?
Yeah, I was actually just kind of thinking about how like a lot of these websites, it's almost kind of like a newspaper where you kind of have to like toe this line of like the style or
Yeah.
brand of your company, but then also the information that needs to get across.
Right. Is my camera freezing for you guys?
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
I noticed there's something, my Wi-Fi is getting a major hiccup. Hold on. Sometimes it's these e-commerce sites that drain you. Like they're so intense. There's just so much information on them. Let's try this now. Yeah, see, that's already better. Those e-commerce, just to let you know, most e-commerce sites, because there's so much information, they literally are just they're just like pulling so much information and caching from you. So it really does kind of slow it down. So repeat what you were saying one more time for me, because you kind of broke up.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was kind of saying how you kind of have to toe this line between maintaining your brand and your style, but then also getting all the information across. Because it's kind of like a lot of these websites are almost like a newspaper where there's a lot of like columns and information that needs to get put there. But then at the same time, you can't lose who you are as a company or make like me, a consumer, feel like I'm being like tricked or something, I guess.
Right. So I would say the only site that I have bought things off of these days, besides kind of Amazon, is Vans. I wear the same Vans all the time. They're the gray, black, slip-on, checks, classic. And most of the time I can't find them anywhere else, so I just come here. And I've also gone and created custom ones. But I do want you to notice that Vans does something different than a lot of the other ones. They hit you with a full screen um, feature area. So if you notice, it goes like it's sized full screen. And I can go in between some different ones, right? Look at this, which is pretty cool. But they also hit you with a condensed like hamburger menu. So they don't expose the menu going all the way across like so many of these other companies. You know, even like Apple, where it's very minimal up here, which is an e-commerce experience, Apple is. But Vans here, they condense everything into, yeah, come on. There you go. And again, it's just being slow right now. What we call a drawer. So it's kind of a drawer menu that opens up. Uh, Hey guys, I'm gonna have to pause for a couple of minutes because my contractor just got here and I need to go ahead and talk to him real quick to get him started. So let's just take about a couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Let's take a 5 minute break real fast so I can go out there and I can speak to him and get him started. Okay? So I'm gonna pause. All right, everyone, I'm back. And I may have to step away again because I got another contractor coming, but it'll only be for a couple of minutes again. So bear with me. All right. So Shaver, yeah, it really is trying to like balance the two. And the thing is that when most brands, like we go over here, Vans, they want to hit you with the brand. Like they want you to have a brand experience, but they also need for you to shop really fast. They want you to get to that experience and they don't want to create barriers to be able to get into the shopping. So I think Vans to me is one of my favorite e-commerce sites because I like how minimal it is. They even have, check this out. What is this? Is this AI? Look at that. Yeah. So they got this kind of AI assistant. And then of course there's my account, there's a search, and then there's my cart. And kind of going back to the other one, uh, a lot of times, they use the different terminology, cart or bag. So if you're going to say bag, use an icon that looks like a bag instead of a cart. So stay consistent with that. But going back to the navigation that I mentioned, I do like the way that Vans does it because they do this minimal navigation that mimics the mobile experience that you can just come in here and keep sort of going deeper with the navigation. All right, so that's a good one. Move that out. Next, here's the standard user flow. Okay. So we're not going to do user flows on this project because the standard user flow is landing page, category, product detail, checkout. I mean, sometimes you could literally you could come in just from the product page. That's not uncommon because you could have went to Google and did a specific search for men's checkered Vans slip-ons, right? I could have done that search and it would take me directly to that product page. So that's not uncommon, but we're not necessarily going to do that for this project. We're just going to keep a standard user flow of landing page, category, product, and then checkout. So here's something that we've talked about in the past, and that is mobile first. Mobile first, mobile first, mobile first. Again, so 76% of users are going or using their mobile devices to shop. 23% are using their desktop or laptop, and then only 1% are using tablets to shop. So it's a huge difference between the different devices of how people shop. And there's a lot of psychology in that. Can anybody, I'm going to say, Carolyn, you there?
I am, and I had a feeling you were going to go to the old person in the classroom. What's your
Well,
question?
I'm pretty sure I'm older than you. So
No, you're not.
We have been experiencing this a lot more than others. Give me an idea. Like why do you think people shop more on their phones versus if they're sitting at their laptop or desktop?
All age groups, you're saying?
What's that?
For all age groups, you're saying
Yeah, I'm
mobile?
just saying in general. Just in general. The
Oh, I just think
average.
it's just more convenient.
Okay. More
You always
convenient.
have your phone on you as opposed to carrying your laptop around with you. So if you're sitting on the couch, you might be watching TV and scrolling on your phone, not necessarily being on your desktop or your laptop.
Okay, good one. Joseph, you there?
Yeah.
What do you
Um,
think, Joseph? Why do you think people shop on their mobile devices more than desktop?
well, I agree with Carolyn that for the convenience and also maybe because like you have stored card information on there, like Apple Pay or your other credit cards that you have stored on your account.
It's a good one, Joseph. Good one. Yeah, Carolyn.
Is it also because we're designing for mobile first?
Not necessarily. What
Okay.
I'm saying, what I'm getting at is human behavior. I'm getting at the psychology of humans in human shopping. So what I'm trying to get you to everybody to think about is to think about the human psychology of shopping and how it's different today than it used to be. So in my day, Carolyn, it might have been your day too.
I'm older than you,
Well,
significantly.
we used to go to the mall.
I've heard
Remember
it's
that?
coming back. I just heard a podcast saying that like people are getting tired of online dating. They want the in-person experience, and that malls and brick and mortars are going to make a comeback in the next couple of years because people are getting tired of like sitting in their houses and having not that contact. So I'll be curious to see.
That is, I'm curious to see that too. And plus, we've completely gotten out of the whole like COVID lockdown and all that stuff. And I think a lot of people just want to be with other humans, right? So I couldn't agree more. So does anybody else, Marie, do you have any other ideas around the human psychology and the human behavior of why people would shop more on the mobile devices versus a desktop?
Well, whenever you're like sitting on the couch and you're watching TV, you're more prone to the doom scrolling, and you'll have advertisements pop up or for like different websites, and then you'll click on that and then kind of go through the loophole of scrolling through all that, but also like the other said as well.
So yes, Joshua.
So, on top of what was said already, by just entirely convenience, it's all about just convenience, and everybody already has like a phone anywhere. It's already just accessible, so anyone can just, while they're in the shop or anywhere, or they might have seen a product, just pull up our phones and then just look it up on the website and then check it out. Then, if we're interested, we can buy it and order it.
I'm sure nobody here, because that's ridiculous to say, that anybody has ever bought something just to make them feel better.
I object. I've actually bought myself something that has actually made me happy, and it was a blanket.
Right? Anybody else want to admit that they bought something just to make them feel better?
The trinkets are going to save my mental health.
Absolutely, Emily. And I have seen your cool stuff in your background.
Fast
Anybody else
cars.
want to admit that they have literally just shopped just because it just made them feel a little bit better about something?
I
My
sometimes like to,
husband,
oh, I'm sorry.
No, go
no,
ahead,
go for
Melinda.
it, Melinda.
I sometimes like to just walk around the mall just because like I'm used to the dopamine of like
Mhm.
getting from it. So I try to just go to just receive the dopamine without buying
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah. And Marie, what were you about to say?
My husband bought 1,000 mini plastic ducks to put around places because it made him
Is
happy.
that him? Is that him in San Diego? Is that him? Is he the one that puts those little miniature ducks down Little Italy and stuff?
He did, but we moved, so not anymore.
So is that some kind of weird little trend out there? Because last time we were in San Diego, we were walking down Little Italy, and there was these little miniature ducks, and they were glued to like, the walkways or different like things. And I was like, that's I mean, it's funny, it's cute, it's like public art, but I was like, who the heck is doing this?
I don't know if it's necessarily a trend. I know that he just really likes ducks for some reason, and he
That's
just likes
cool.
putting them in random spots.
I think it's funny. I thought it was hilarious. Like I noticed it in Little Italy last time I was there. There was all these little miniature ducks, like the little rubber ducks, the bath ducks, and somebody had glued them in just all kinds of different spots throughout Little Italy. So, um, but yeah, kind of interesting. So again, I want us to really take a moment to absorb the human psychology of shopping and why that's important when we're moving into this project. And when you're starting to think about like the home page in the feature. So, there's a psychology of shopping. We all know there's a psychology of shopping. You have to know, right? There's a psychology of color. There's a psychology of how, why Kit here is using this little cute little baby with these rad sneakers, and I love the outfit matching up with these motorcycle helmets, right? There's an emotional like connection here. So there's a human psychology of shopping, and people shop for different reasons. They shop because this is an emotional dopamine. They shop because they just need something. You can shop for just a variety of reasons. So you need to think about it when you're coming up with this brand, and when you're coming up with like a category that maybe relates to you, Precious, I'm going to call you out here again real quick. You'll maybe want to come up with like a sneaker company, right? Because you like sneakers, and maybe it's kids sneakers, just like this cute little kid right here. Maybe the brand that you're going to invent is some brand that just focuses on, kids sneakers, and you're going to create an e-commerce brand and website that's all around kids sneakers. Right?
Yeah.
So, just considering these things, these are things you're going to be considering when you get into this project. So, questions? Any questions about what we just kind of cruise through here a little bit?
I have
Any
a
more
question.
thoughts around that? Carolyn?
At the beginning, I know what business to business is and business to consumer. Can you give me an example of consumer to consumer?
Yeah, so transactions between customers, Etsy.
Isn't one still the business though, and the other still the consumer?
Well, I mean, it technically can be C to C too, because you not only have the things that you're selling, but you're also the consumer on there too. So, like Etsy can be a C to C as well.
I like what I'm seeing in the chat. They're saying like
Oh yeah.
Offer up, where that's
Oh,
consumer to consumer more than somebody like
bam.
running an Etsy, which is a business. Okay, thank you, you guys.
100%. Thank you guys. What is Depop? I've never heard of that before.
It's like vintage clothing. It's like thrift shopping online. Like
Oh, get out of here. Yeah. Yes, I agree. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for participating. You're right. This is a much better example of C to Cs, is this kind of stuff. Yeah, Shaver.
There was a meme or a tweet. I don't know which one it was, but it kind of got quite a good number of likes, and it was talking about how with millennials or Gen Z or probably Gen X too, that for some reason the bigger the purchase, the bigger the like thing you had to be on to buy it, if that makes sense. And it was kind of comedic, but a lot of people were relating to it. And I wonder if there's percentages on larger purchases like a car, if they're, made more on by desktops than, you know what I mean, like t-shirts and shoes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I see what you're talking about. You're
Yeah.
seeing
100%. 100%. I'm not going to buy a refrigerator off of my phone.
Yeah,
No way.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm in the market for a refrigerator, and there's just no way. It's just not. I can't see all the examples and like
Right.
scroll back and forth easily and have multiple tabs. And so I totally agree with that. That might be
that's
an
a
old
really
person
good
view.
that's a really good point, Shaver. That's some interesting psychology, right? So, I mean, I'm a big Home Depot person. Love Home Depot, especially because, whenever I renovate homes and things like that. And I will have to say that go away, go away, go away. There. I have to say, yeah, whenever I've made big purchases like refrigerators and just these really big orders, I think, yeah, I do have a tendency to go more on my laptop so I can see it larger. I can look at the information a little bit better. And then, yeah, so that's some interesting psychology. Thanks for bringing that one up. Yeah, good one. Let's see here. Anybody, anything else? That was a good question. Good topic. Nope. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to move on. And we're going to get into our next assignment. So our next assignment, like I mentioned at the beginning, it is a e-commerce website. So in this project, you will develop an e-commerce website for an original brand that you create. Okay, is everybody paying attention there? You're creating this from scratch. You're not taking another one and now I'm going to redesign Adidas. No, you're not doing that. You're going to come up with a new brand from scratch. You're going to begin by completing a creative brief, a competitor audit, and a mood boards for visual inspiration. So that is the very first assignment on this project. We'll get a little bit more into that. Yeah, Joshua.
What will be our constraints for this project?
We'll be going through that. And you'll be defining those yourself. Okay?
Thank you.
You betcha. So these initial steps will inform the creation of a logo that embodies your brand story and positioning. You're going to develop information architecture that organizes your products and essential pages into intuitive categories to facilitate easy navigation. So that's our wireframes, right? You will also design 4 key pages for your e-commerce website. You'll be doing a landing page or a home page, right? Category page, product page, and checkout. The landing/home page should visually communicate your brand story and unique value proposition, featuring intuitive product category indicators and a clear call to action. The category page must display your products effectively in a well-organized grid layout with strong filtering options. The product page should provide detailed information, high-quality images, and a prominent buy button, along with elements like ratings and reviews. The checkout page or flow should present a streamlined step-by-step process with user-friendly forms. I'm using this as an example, Kith. It is this boutique out of sort of this kind of boutique shopping experience that focuses on custom and high-end products. And they have these different categories here. It's real simple. They do the drawer, which is kind of cool, right? You know, you click on the different menu items and it opens up a side drawer. They keep the homepage very simple. Like this is a super simple home. You got your feature, and then you got your second feature. That's a carousel. Whoops. Go back. So you can just drag this, and it has arrows. So a simple carousel. And then they're just hitting you with some quick product features. Another simple carousel. And then they're just trying to point you to the app because they want you to use the app. So very, very simple landing/homepage for this one. I highly recommend, so everyone again, pay attention. I highly recommend you try to keep it simple, okay? This is a big enough project. I wouldn't recommend, you know, what was the other one that you look at, like Finish Line? don't try to do something this big. Okay, Precious? This is gonna overwhelm you. Like trying to do a e-commerce site this large is just gonna your mind's gonna melt. Try to keep it simple. I think that this fifth one here is, especially the landing page, it's super clean and simple. So we could come here, we could go to our category page. We're going to go to explore men's. I like how clean and simple this category is. It's not, not too big, not too overwhelming. Matter of fact, you could probably even simplify this a bit more, but try not to overwhelm yourself, okay? So put a link to Kith in here. So you're going to start off with creating 2 e-commerce ideas. And that's going to be before you finalize it, you're going to want to think about your product category. You're going to want to think about your product descriptions, your price points, your target audience, and like 5 to 10 different names. So again, Precious, I'm gonna call you out here as well again. Let's pretend like you're gonna do kids sneakers. And so, you're gonna want to come up with a variety of like 5 to 10 different names for this e-commerce company. And you're going to think about like what's special about this company? What makes it? Why would you, as a mother, why would you want to shop at this e-commerce site for kids sneakers? So you're going to want to think about those differentiators and what makes these categories special. Because I know, because I had little kids. Kids grow out of sneakers real fast. So anybody that's buying kids sneakers, for a lot of money, they must be rich or crazy. Because if you're going to buy $60 sneakers for a 2-year-old, they're going to grow out of it in probably like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? So, those are certain things that you would want to consider, right, Precious? I don't know how old your kids are, but you would want to think about things like that. Maybe what's unique about your company is there's a recycling program, right? Maybe there's a vintage or a kind of like we looked at the C2C. Maybe there's a component. Maybe your company is a C2C, children's sneaker company. So what if you as a mom went on there and you're like, I got my kids' sneakers that they don't wear anymore, and I'm going to resell them. What if
Yeah,
that's your business idea?
that's definitely a good idea because I did that on Poshmark. I used to sell all my son's shoes on there.
So there you go. I just helped you out, maybe. Like maybe that's, because I'm just thinking of you as a target audience. You said sneakers and you said buy for kids. So I'm just kind of immediately just sort of like rolling with it. But maybe that's like your whole angle. This is a C2C kids sneaker brand store, like e-commerce site. You come up with a cool little fun name for it. You come up with the logo and you keep it real simple. Maybe you're just basing it off of, all right, it could just be, it could be male, female, or non-gender. It could be based off of like age-wise, and then now brands, right? I'm gonna shop brands. So I just want Adidas sneakers for my little boys, and I want to sell those, but I also want to buy some because now they're 6 months old, or they're a year old, or 2 years old. And now you can start doing, some of that C2C shopping and selling. Cool.
Yep.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Right on. So here it goes back to what we were just talking about. We already helped Precious out with her idea. watch me see Precious in 5 years be a billionaire because she actually launched her brand and her website, and now she's turned into a billionaire in 5 years. So,
That would be nice.
right? Hey, I want you to kick down some cash for me because I helped you come up with that idea. All right. Don't forget me.
You
Uh, okay. So you want to pick a product category that maybe that means something to you. Again, like, that means something to Precious. Sorry, hold on. I hear my wife yelling at my dog, so want to make sure my dog's not attacking my my contractor right now. That happened one time. Paloma or Doberman, she got out and a poor contractor ran up a ladder and almost like literally crawled on the rooftop of her house because Paloma chased her down. It was not funny, but funny at the same time. So, anyways, pick a category that means something to you, that you're passionate about, that you also feel like, what if it's, again, coffee and cooking? Maybe it's those two categories. You like to cook, but you also like coffee. And maybe it's a brand that focuses on coffee and cooking. And it could also provide a service. So maybe the service is, if it's a local coffee and cooking company in San Diego, the service could be you could buy a cooking class and they could go there and you go and you purchase a cooking class and coffee making class, but you also can buy the coffee. See what I'm saying? Combine those sort of product categories together. Next, talking about the naming, a good name should encapsulate the unique identity of the brand, its first and most enduring part of your business. So I'm going to pull up my wife's company. Mucho Mucho Taco. Everybody that we have met loves to say mucho mucho. They always just kind of get a kick out of it. They smile. And because when we first started this off, the idea of the business was to do catering and food truck. That was our initial idea. It is a premier food experience, and we launched it based off of doing catering. So that was the service, right? And then the food truck. So we kept it super simple. We built the brand around this. I did my own photography. So all of the photography in here, I did myself for us. Of course, we built the brand together, and I did a simple Squarespace site. So I immediately here, we hit them up with contacting us. So we want people to immediately go to contact. It's up here we keep the site super simple. It is a very simple service-based kind of e-commerce site. You have a home and you have a contact. You come here, what we do private dinners, private food truck. That's my wife in the middle, her beautiful self. And this is the food that we did. And I photographed all the food. So these barbacoa, oh God, I remember those so much. They were so damn good. Kale, cranberry on top of the barbacoa. Horchata, elote. We did our own mason jars, and we would sell the mason jars. So that's all my wife's cooking. She is phenomenal. And so we kept it really simple. We just hit them up with the services and then just go to the contact. It's real simple. Select the service, private chef, private event, food truck rental, or let's just grab a beer. So we get people kind of selecting all of these and then hitting submit. But you guys, you can't have it that simple. I am requiring that you do need to do multiple pages. And those multiple pages are a home page, a category page, a product page, and then finally a shopping cart. So, but the reason why I showed that is because Mucho Mucho Taco has always been a great name for our business. People love it. It's become very branded, and we just continue to sort of roll off of that name, and it's grown over time. So naming process, brainstorm. Brainstorming can be anywhere. You could be driving. You could be out with your friend, or in my case, my wife and I were sitting at a bar, we were drinking, having some beers, and we came up with the name over a couple of beers. And then, we put together a list of them. You can put together a list of names, get down to a short list, and then start doing testing. The one thing that I tell all clients, which I'm always surprised, it's crazy, what clients do not do is they don't do this first. Watch. They don't go into Google and type in the name. So if I was to type in mucho mucho taco, and I was to come up, and then all of a sudden I came across other mucho mucho tacos, well, of course, I can't really, that's going to make it hard. Or you type in the URL. If I would have, like at the beginning, if we would have typed in muchomuchotaco.com and somebody else had it, well, that kind of really puts a damper on your name in the website you're going to be able to choose. So I'm always surprised how clients don't do that simple step and immediately test their name in Google. Yeah, it's always surprising. So you need to test it. You need go on to Google and test your name. So if your name is Precious, I'm going to come up with a name for you, preciousSneakers.com. Let's say we were to do that, and I was going to go preciousSneakers.com. Ooh, maybe you should buy that. There you go. That's the first step. Like, just type it in. And if it's available, then you probably want to go on to, you can go on to Squarespace and purchase your URL immediately. So that's that step in the naming process. It's real simple. Just do a quick Google test. Questions about that? Nope. All right. So yes, Carl.
I have a question about, so part of the assignment was 5 to 10 name ideas. So that's 5 to 10
That's
name
like the
ideas.
brainstorming. That's your brainstorming right in here. Your naming process.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm confused about, so there's two ideas are due, right? Because we have to come up with 2 ideas because we're going to pick one, right?
Well, that's going to be a part of like, that's your sort of behind the curtain process, right? You're going to come to me with one name. I just need one name that you've decided on. But it's like a logo, right? If you're designing a logo, did you only sketch out one logo?
No.
You sketched out 10s, 20, 30 logos. So it's really a part of the process. It's a part of this naming process. You want to brainstorm just a bunch of names. So, Precious is going to come up with just a variety of names for her kids sneaker C2C company. It could be, right, Precious Sneakers, or it could be, I don't know, like bouncy sneakers, right? She's going to come up with a bunch of names for this like C2C kids sneaker company. And then she's going to shortlist that down to like a few of them, and then she needs to test them. She needs to go online, like I just showed you, into Google and go, all right, well, which ones could I even move forward with? Well, I might love Precious Sneakers, but the website's not available. Somebody else has come up with the name. Sorry, you're going to have to ditch it. It's just, plus you could get sued. Don't try to push something that somebody else already has. Like, Carl, I'm just going to play with you. Like, don't come up with mucho enchiladas. right? Because that's too close to what we already own. I could sue you for that. Just ditch it. Don't like forget it. It's too close to mucho taco. So that's why you need a backup. You need, even though the concept is kids sneakers, she needs to come up with a variety of names and test them and then end up with one that works. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sure. All right. So here's all of the assignments that are in this project. Assignment 1. Matter of fact, I'm going to combine these a little bit, but and I'll edit these. But assignment 1, you need to do the creative brief. Assignment 2, mood boards and competitive analysis. But what I'm saying is, I want you to start these together. So even though they're outlined as separate assignments, these 2 assignments you need to start now. And I'm going to give you a little extra time. I think I'm going to adjust the due date. So I'm gonna think about that a little bit. I have it only for 1 week, but I might give you like a week and a half or 2 weeks to finish both of these assignments. But I'm grouping them together. The next assignment is to do information architecture, right? So that's going to be design information architecture that organizes your products and pages into an intuitive system with clear and consistent hierarchies. You need to do a site map that demonstrates a logical structure, just like you did in the previous one. And you need to do wireframes. And then also your assignment 4 is, you need to do a brand logo. And then your final assignment is you need to design your website. So I just got to add that on here. So the final one is designing. So what we're looking at here is I'm going to combine. So I'm going to update this slide here for everyone, and I'll update that before I share it. But what we're doing is our first assignment, you need to do the creative brief, which needs to include the idea, the brand, what the brand is. So the concept overview of it, the target audience, and the project constraints. So somebody had asked earlier, I think it was you, Joshua, around the project constraints. You need to define your project constraints. So you need to define, well, is it a B2B site? Is it a B2C site? Is it a C2C site? Or is it combining a few? You need to consider what are those project constraints based off of the theme and what category does it fit within. Then you need to do the competitor analysis and the mood boards. So I'm going to adjust the due date. So I'll have that done and I'll resubmit that. And what I'll do is I'll post that, of course, in Canvas. So I might extend this out to 2 weeks. It's a lot, but you already got all that other project under your belt, so you're familiar with some of these things. So you should be able to move quicker on this project. Yeah, Carl.
Yep. Are there different forms for this assignment? Like you gave us the forms to fill out for our other website. Are we using the same ones or are there different ones? Because I don't think like
use the same ones. There's no need to reinvent it. Just use the same ones.
Got it. Okay. I was just asking because I don't remember like concept overview being part of what does that entail?
So the concept overview is what is the concept of the e-commerce in the brand. So again, I'm still using Precious as a great example, right? Her concept overview is reselling kids sneakers right? Kids sneakers that they've grown out of. That's her concept. That's her business model. So her concept is her and other parents, they bought sneakers for their kids. They know that they have that they've grown out of them, and they haven't, like, most of the time, kids don't beat up shoes too much at a young age, right? They're just kind of wearing them and they're not messed up too much. And so the concept is, right? She can, her site, you can go on there, you can, she can sell her kids' shoes. She can also rate, like, like, how good of, like, shape are they in? Are they like brand new? Or have they been worn a little bit? Very similar to like OfferUp and some of those other ones that she could do, and I'm sure a lot of these other platforms that you can put on there and you can rate, like, yeah, and then you could even take photos of, like, yeah, there's a little bit of scuffs on the shoes, but they're not damaged. So her concept overview for her kids sneaker C2C is that she's providing a platform for parents to resell their kids' sneakers that they've grown out to other parents that are looking for a good deal that don't want to pay the retail price for kids' sneakers. That's her concept. And again, I encourage you to use ChatGPT. I encourage you to use Gemini, and let's just have fun with it real quick, right? Let's just do this real fast. We're going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to say, help write a business model and overview for a e-commerce brand and website for reselling kids premium brand sneakers as a C2C platform. Keep it brief and casual. All right, you guys following me? Sure. Business name. Check that out, Precious. Little Kicks. How fun is that? Overview. Little Kicks is a curated peer-to-C, C2C e-commerce platform for buying and selling premium brand sneakers for kids. Think StockX meets kidswear, making it easy for parents to resell high-quality outgrown shoes and scoop up gently used or rare finds at a fraction of the retail. Business model. We operate as a digital marketplace that connects sellers, mostly parents, with buyers, also parents looking for top-tier kids. Boom. There you go. And again, I encourage you, don't just copy and paste. Try to add your own stuff to this, Precious, right? You would want to take this and kind of tweak it a little bit and make it a little more unique. But why this works is kids grow fast, sneakers don't. I love that. Parents love saving money and hate waste. This platform keeps the good stuff in rotation and out of landfills. That's a great differentiator. Boom, you have an amazing business model for an e-commerce site right here, C2C. Sound good? I love this model. I think it's phenomenal. So yeah, use the tools to help you out. Does that answer your questions, Carl?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So competitor analysis, I mean, hell, you could even use this too. Now help me with, a competitor analysis of this business model. Absolutely. Competitor analysis, StockX/GOAT, Facebook Marketplace. Kitty Zen, It's really helping you right here. But again, like this is a great start. You'd want to use this as a base. You can use this as a baseline, go on these, and then, do layer on top of that and extend on your own analysis. Don't be lazy. Don't let AI do all your work for you. So, just to show you an example, that Apple Vision Pro company I'm doing a brand for, I have used AI to help get me started, to help me I start off with multiple versions of my manifesto, mission statement, guiding principles, attributes. And then I even end up doing like, what are the differentiators for each attribute? So I use it to kind of help me write some of these. And then, I do multiple versions. And then what I do is I take that stuff and then myself, I go in and I pick and choose and I alter and I combine and I edit to get the best ones for um, my project and my clients. So I just use it to help me with kind of baseline language. Cool. Questions? We're going to move on to people sharing their corporate website. We're going to do a quick little 5-minute break again. And then we're going to jump back into this. All right. So let's see here. There's a couple of chats. What was the chat? Haven't had breakfast yet, and this isn't helping me situate. Sorry, Joshua. Yes.
Yeah, those are when I
Okay.
was seeing the food from Mucho
Yeah,
Mucho
right on.
Taco.
All right, so let's actually do a 10-minute break. Let's come back at 2:55, starting now, and enjoy your break, and I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Thank you. All right. Let's get going here soon, okay, please? It looks like the next gen guys aren't gonna come. Hey, everyone. Donna,
Yes.
I think you were the first one to volunteer, weren't you?
Yes. It says sharing is not turned on.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that reminder. Second here. And so, just to let everyone know, please try to present your work in the preview mode. Okay, so it feels like a presentation. Alrighty?
Yes. Okay.
Nina, you have a quick question before we get going?
Not. I just wanted to ask if you had got my email.
I haven't checked emails. I've been very busy today.
Okay. Well, you get a chance, check it because I gave some important information.
Okay. Yeah, I won't be able to check it until after class.
Okay, that's fine. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. Donna, everybody. Now,
Yes.
this is a formal presentation. I want everybody to please stop what they're doing and give Donna your full attention. It's out of respect and just respect.
I want to add though, I also sent an email about like all the color explorations I did. So just know that in my file I have a lot of color explorations, but they are labeled. But I'm just gonna show the one that was favored by one of my peers.
Perfect. Exactly. Just show us the ones that you like, and we'll stick to that. But treat this like a formal presentation because this is a formal presentation in my mind.
Alrighty. So
Okay.
mine's a law firm. So here's the home page, and for some button animations, I have it so if you hover,
Look at
it
you.
like
Nice. Figure that out.
signals that it's like clickable.
Love it.
So there's an about us with image, and then accordion, and then a carousel, and then here's the changed nav. I'm not sure if that's a little more sophisticated.
I do. I do like that. I do have extra thoughts to make it even, I think, more minimal
Okay.
and just, yeah, a little more subtle.
And then there's the footer, and then a little animation here for the get in touch.
Excellent.
Our
Where did you get
office.
that from?
What? Oh, this hamburger menu.
Oh, okay. So the hamburger, but wouldn't the hamburger menu show you all of your navigation?
It would. I wasn't. It was that a requirement for us to design? Oh,
It
okay.
wasn't.
That's why I didn't design it. But if
Okay,
it
good.
was required, I would do it.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it wasn't a requirement.
And then you can click back and it'll take you here. And then also, oh, it would scroll.
Excellent.
And then here is that on desktop. And then the buttons do the same thing here. The About Us, the accordion, the carousel, footer, and then contact.
Contact will take you to that, yeah. About this. Excellent.
So yeah.
I really feel that the progression of your design has just like spot on. Like I think where it's at right now, you've gone through this progression of working with us and sharing it and taking feedback and applying feedback and trying different things. And I really believe that you've done a great job with the visual design of your presentation here. I think it feels unique. It feels ownable. It feels sophisticated. It feels, not serious in a stale and boring way, but it does need to feel serious. I mean, they're attorneys.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second, Donna. Are you done? Sorry, 1 second, Donna. You're done, Herman? Okay, dude. I appreciate it, man. All right. Thank you. Later. Okay. Yeah, Donna. I think the bold use of the typography is super unique. It says it's confident. The black and white imagery is also very sophisticated. The secondary typography for your body copy in those places, I think, is a great choice. I still do feel that it gets a little thin when it gets smaller.
Okay.
So if we go like even here, client testimonials, it's getting a little thin. And I think that you need to consider that when you get down to a certain size with this particular font, you might want to go up one weight. So what is it at? Like an extra light?
I think it's light.
Light? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you get down to a certain size, you might want to bump it up to the next weight just so like it stays very readable. And it's starting to kind of get a little lost when it starts getting smaller. And if you go over to the mobile, yeah, especially here, like it's really, I'm having kind of a hard time with that. And it very well could be better if I had it on my phone, but I'm pretty sure if you just bump up the weight just to the next one, it'll help improve that readability.
Okay.
Now, as far as these arrows go, I feel like that maybe you don't even see the arrows.
Oh, it would just be like assumed that you could scroll.
Yeah, because you already have like your little indicators down here. Whoops. Let me erase that. Whoops. There you go. Let me make sure I'm doing, there you go, invisible draw. So, or they don't have this transparency to them. Maybe it's just the same color as the background. So you're not getting this weird layering that I think ends up not being as elegant and sophisticated.
Yeah,
'Cause
those
now
were
you could do
tricky.
yeah, it's a little tricky. So I think you could do one or two things. You could either maybe just get rid of the arrows because I think they just look a little tacked on in a way, like stickers. Or you just try to minimize them even more.
Okay.
So great job.
Thank
Your
you.
class member said, yeah, Janet says, love the new blue color. Great job from Shaver. Balanced and cohesive. Bree said, love the footer with the big name really big on it. And then Melinda just says, love it. So thank you, everyone. Does anybody
Thank
have
you.
any very specific feedback for Don?
Yeah, I do. Good job, Donna. I think
you.
right here with your arrows, like instead of black squares for the quotes, if you had just like a horizontal black strip and then the arrows knocked out of the black in the same color as the background, that would be a little
Oh,
cleaner than the boxes.
okay,
Sure.
yeah. I didn't even think about that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that could very well be a more elegant solution.
I just wanted to say the color choice you have is just so unique. It was really impressive. I really like it.
Thank you.
Yep. color's a powerful thing, right? Right, Melinda? The color can really evoke a certain feeling. And I think that the color choices that she ended up selecting here give a sense of, modern, professional, but also calming. It feels calm, but professional at the same time. So good job. Okay, Joshua, you raise your hand.
Oh yeah, I wanted to give some feedback. Like, I don't normally go to like law firm websites, but that one, if I ever needed a lawyer, I would absolutely go to that website that Donna made.
Yeah. I think it checks the boxes on a lot of things. So yeah, good job, Donna. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Emily, you're the next brave one.
I'm very nervous. Um,
Don't be nervous. I
I
tell
haven't
you,
shared jack shit in this class, so
that's
here's
okay.
the.
That's okay. Well, we're excited to see what you got. And again, we're all friends. We all want to see you be successful. So just take your time. Let's try to get through this in no more than 10 minutes, okay? And don't
Um,
worry about the time. I'll keep track of time, okay?
okay.
So yeah,
So
go
this is
for it.
mobile.
So hold on
So
just a second, Emily. Introduce us. What is this? What company is this?
Morley Builders is a commercial construction company based in Santa Monica, that
Okay.
works in the LA area and San Diego.
Okay, good. Thank you so much.
So this is mobile,
Going through,
who we
kind of talk
are
us,
section.
yes, talk us through a little
Uh,
bit, while you're scrolling. It's always good when you're presenting to kind of talk us through a little bit of each section, and highlight it as you're scrolling, okay?
okay, so here's the who we are section, which links into more detailed landing page of
Excellent.
the company history.
Hmm.
Um, we go into a carousel that highlights their projects, and there's little
Hmm.
icons to show that they open to their own landing pages as well.
Good.
Um, and then we have a video area to like overviews of like the different services they provide.
Hmm.
Um, and then a contact form to get in touch. Um, and then footer.
Excellent. Okay.
Zoom. Get
Okay.
out of my
Just take your
way.
time.
Why is the banner at the top? Uh, this is the breakout page or the
Okay.
detailed page.
Is this
De
like an about page?
no, it's like more detail about what are their completed projects.
Okay, gotcha. One of their completed projects. Thank you.
Yeah, so they do the Central Courthouse in downtown.
Good.
And there's carousel of the images, and
Hmm.
then an overview, which I didn't want it to be too long, so you can expand it if you want.
Like that.
Um,
Yeah.
and then goes into details of like who and what and where and how big
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
their awards.
Yep.
Then navigation to explore more of their projects, which they've been around 75 years. There's quite a few of them.
Sure
And then the
are.
back to home button.
Back to home. Excellent.
Mm, desktop.
Okay. Good.
Same setup. So who
Translates
we
really
are.
well. Hmm.
Uh, the carousel, the images
Hmm.
of the different projects.
Hmm.
Uh, different setup for the videos where the navigation's on the left
Hmm.
instead of like a drop down. And then the check form and footer.
Mega footer, right?
Big company, big footer.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the project page,
Hmm.
desktop, carousel at the top, uh, overview section, which can be expanded.
Hmm.
project details, people all laid out, and awards, and then navigation to more projects.
Excellent. Well, Emily, for somebody that hasn't really shared much in this class, this is very impressive.
Thanks.
The things that really stand out to me is it's feels thoughtful, feels well crafted. You are utilizing design language and UI elements that I think are very intuitive. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Let's jump over to that home mobile. Okay. Great. Let's start from the top. All right. So, and is this their like real logo? That's their real logo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the things that, I wanted to call out here is that I think you truly have extended and built on at least what I'm seeing for, their mark itself with the typography and color. I think that you have used their color in a smart and intuitive way. There are some areas that I would say we can improve on, and we'll go through that. But I think the overall design aesthetic and the organization of your content is very believable, and it's thoughtful. So it also feels very confident and professional. The typography is bold and professional, but it's organized. Your use of photography is strong. And I think just overall, you did a wonderful job. So way to go. Go ahead and scroll through real quick. I also like the little design elements of like the lines that you've brought in here, and then the UI for like the iconography to click more that indicates you're going to go to a separate page. I think that's really smart. Okay, yeah, just keep going. I think your carousels, just the subtleness of, the for this carousel, the one that's in the middle goes larger, so it creates this visual representation of it's the focal point compared to the other ones. So I think that was really good. All right, keep going. Yeah, you have a internal sort of form that you can scroll through that works. A very usable form at the bottom. Go back to top, and then yeah, it's a pretty big footer. So some of the things that I would improve on here, just overall, and that would apply to the other one, is your white text on the yellow buttons could be hard to read. You are sharing it, so if I was to pull it up on my phone, maybe it's a little bit better, but you might consider that typography could be like black text on yellow or something like that, right? That creates more contrast. Joshua?
I did
You
put a drop shadow on it.
Joshua, you had a comment?
Yes, why not make it like a shade of blue, like a darker shade of the blue that's being used here?
Could be, right.
Like
So there's a
mix
couple of different
and
things that you
match.
could explore to add more contrast in those buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right, let's go to that secondary page, please, on mobile. One of these. There you go. Nice. Excellent. Okay, so also like the menu icon, it works well. It's very intuitive. I think there's enough contrast up there, and based off of at least what I'm seeing. So as you scroll through this, I think this is organized very well. It's very readable. I also like this, what you got going on with the expand for the main copy right there. So maybe not everybody wants to read the whole thing. So I think that's a good use of revealing more content if somebody wants to. The rest of the content on this particular page, I think, is well organized. It's readable. You're carrying over certain design elements that are consistent from the home page. You got real simple, drawers, expandable drawers, and then keep going. Now, you do want to keep the footer. You don't want every single page should have the same footer, just like the top nav. Okay?
Okay.
That's a global element. Like your main nav in your footer is always a global element, and it should be on every single page. Cool. Great job. Does anybody else have any additional feedback for Emily? Yeah.
It's very clean, Emily. It looks very professional. Be proud of yourself.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I agree. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, see, that wasn't so painful, right, Emily?
It was.
You did a great job. There was no big deal there. So, good job. So, based off this feedback, just consider the feedback and decide on how you want to apply it with any updates that you have. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
All righty. Excellent. Okay, let's see here. So who's next? Who's next here?
I can go.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't like unless somebody I do see Joseph and Maya. You also had dropped your name in here too.
I believe Shaver also said that he added his
Shaver
name to the
did
list.
too. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so then how about whoever dropped their name in next, let's have them. And then Melinda, you can follow up with the rest of the people that dropped their name in. So Shaver, you go for it then.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll share now. Can everybody see?
Oh,
We can now,
now I
yes.
can. Yeah,
Cool. So, I fortunately didn't have, well, I just didn't get to like the responsiveness of it. So I'm just going to be clicking through the pages. Sorry about that.
that's fine. Just show us what you have today, okay?
Cool. Yeah, so home page on the desktop. Next goes into you would scroll down and find some information, light information about the swap meet, the pricing, and the new and just kind of a little, selling point towards the bottom
Yeah.
and ambient video.
Mhm.
And then as you scroll down, you see that it changes up. You kind of get that big nav bar above with the vendor shoppers events shopping cart and then a nav bar that would show more options.
Yep.
And then it would scroll down into the events and some links to social media where you can stay in touch with the events. The
Yep.
idea being that calendar would kind of change with what's coming up.
Excellent.
And then finally, a way to get subscribed to the newsletter at the very end,
Okay.
the footer, which kind of has a breakdown of what you would essentially click on when you hit that nav bar tool.
They look like they're really enjoying the elote.
Yeah, yeah. And then here is just the mobile version of it, just kind of subtracted some information.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Mhm.
And then that would scroll up to the foot, like you would just have to swipe up to get the footer.
Okay.
And then the detailed
There you
page
go.
would be what would happen if you clicked on shoppers. So immediately you get some right away, the button to buy tickets.
Good.
And
Good.
then all of these arrows would take you down. If you clicked on them, would take you down to these pages, the business hours with the Google Maps and Apple Maps, and
Good.
some frequently answered questions and tips. And then the frequent shoppers program that they have. Each one of these would take you to your like these frequent stamp card, digital stamp cards,
Sure. Sure.
and the footer again.
Okay.
And then that gets into the mobile,
Mhm.
which again is just like some redacted from the desktop.
Right. Exactly.
And that's it.
Excellent, Shaver. Way to go. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep sharing so we can see. You got to
Oh,
give me feedback.
sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to get out of there.
That's all right. No, we still got some time here. All right. So I think, first of all, I think that you have captured the essence of the Kobe swap meet experience in a lot of ways. And I think that you have made a very like intuitive experience on your website. I think, first of all, you're allowing the different target audience to get to what they want to very quickly. And it's again, that path, that user journey is it's spot on. It's very intuitive. So I have my thoughts, but I would like to open it up instead of me talking so much, which I get tired of sometimes. I would like your fellow classmates to please do Shaver a favor and come on, let's speak up and let's hear some thoughts from you guys. Anybody?
I really like the color palette you have. It's pretty
Mhm.
fun. It makes it feel like a collective thing. And I like the muted image. I think it's really classy, but I feel it's like two different styles coming together with like the fun, bright colors, but then you have like this really cool, like it's like two different concepts kind of fighting each other. But like I like see something really cool like in it.
Yeah. Okay. It's good feedback.
Thank you.
Joshua?
So, really awesome work on getting this done, especially the videos that are playing in the background. That's amazing. Um, I really love what you did, and all it needs is just like turning up a bit on the text, like the get to free. It doesn't seem very centered, unless that was intentional. Um, but yeah, I this is solid, really solid for a swap meet. It gives it the swap meet vibe, and it fits the feel.
Thank you.
I agree. That's good. How about from some of you quiet people? Some of you guys that don't speak up much, please. Come
Marie gave
on.
some feedback in chat.
What's that?
Marie gave some feedback in
Feedback.
chat.
Okay, well, Marie, how about you speak up? Come on. Marie, you there? You able to talk?
Yes, sorry.
There you go.
I just
I'd
said that.
much rather hear from you guys. I know Shaver would much rather hear from you. So yeah, go ahead, speak up, please.
Um, I just said that maybe for the buttons, try to change either the text color or the fill color because it's a little difficult to try and read, especially with the background being the muted color and they're kind of like very similar. But other than that, like great work. It
Yeah,
looks
that
good.
Yeah,
makes sense. Thank you.
I
Mhm.
agree too, Marie, with that. I think that would be an improvement for me. Of
Can I just say like one more thing to my comment?
course.
It's like I feel like you were on this really good track with like that muted image you have because when I just look at that with the yellow buttons and the Kobe logo, like I see it like really captures like San Diego culture to me. And I think it's just like the green, the red, blue, yellow fun stuff. Cause like that's the other side of Kobe's is like swapping stuff and all that. Like I feel it's just it's that side of like what Kobe is like kind of fighting a little bit with that San Diego culture vibe that you like really applied very well.
I
Yeah, the
think,
idea was the Padres colors for the color palette, and
yep,
I just
that was
left
smart.
I just left the logo. I don't think we were supposed to touch it, so yeah, it kind of clashes, but
That's okay.
I'm
Carl.
sorry that's the logo. I thought it was just the red Kobe's thing.
Yeah. Carl, yeah, you had your hand raised.
I do. Yeah, I think Shaver did a great redesign on what was a like website that was badly in need of it, and this one looks much better. I think anyone would agree that it's come, a long way. So for like a little bit of feedback specifically, these buttons here, they look a little mistakey. Like one side is kind of they're like uneven or wonky in some way, which I guess is a little bit of Kobe's vibe, but these ones kind of look like you can't tell if it's a mistake. So I think if you wanted it to be like misshapen, then make it more misshapen or make it symmetrical.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always that line I think I mentioned. Remember, I said an old quote that Candace had given me. It's the cliff thing. Either jump off the cliff or back off the cliff. Don't stand on the edge. So yeah, there's always that fine line, like you're talking about, Carl. It's like commit to either making it really misshapen or not misshapen. Don't sort of sit right in between it. So I think all of this is really good feedback. I think the nod at the San Diego Padres color palette is really smart, Shaver. Um, but the one thing overall, aesthetically, is that knowing swap meets in general, swap meets are very eclectic, right? They're like it's not polished. It's very like kind of even haphazard at times. But as much as like that can be a part of an aesthetic, I think you have brought in a lot of smart organization in your design and your in the structure that works very well. I also think that the combination of a lot of colors complements the logo itself because it's got a lot of colors in it. So it is very vibrant in that aspect. So I think those things work well. If I was to improve on, let's just say we're looking at the buttons right now, I feel
Yeah.
like that I might have done what Carl had said, take it, like push it a little bit and mimic maybe some of the hard edges and the angles from the shop, right? The
Yeah.
shop's got those like diagonal kind of angles like this. I feel like if you would have done that with the buttons too, it would have helped complement that a little bit more. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, bring in the color contrast so we can read that a bit. Can we go back to the home page, please, to the top
Yeah. The
on the
desktop or
mobile?
mobile.
It doesn't matter, whatever. Yeah. So, again, like I understand what you're going for with this because it is Kobe Swap Meet, but I'm still struggling with this transparent background to the logo. Like I feel like again, and also the roundness of these shapes. I feel like that you could complement the angles and stuff like that from the logo from the shop sell into your other shapes better because these rounded corners don't really to me kind of complement like these fun shapes of shop and sell.
Yeah.
So I would explore like trying to give those things maybe more angles and just that aesthetic that matches that. And then also, I don't know, like maybe get rid of this transparency because I almost feel like when I look at this, what I love about this image that you've chosen is that these stickers that are put on these different things. I love that aesthetic. Why not bring that aesthetic of those stickers into these things? Like, come find what's been missing in your life. What if that looked like it was one of those stickers with like hand-drawn type on it?
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like pull in and mimic some of those like that hand-done quality into your design to make it feel more like what you would find at Kobe Swap Meet. So I'm just trying to get you to sort of push the design a little bit more and to make it feel more like aesthetically cohesive with some of the imagery and things like that that I've seen. So that's my overall feedback for you. I think you've done a really good job. Again, it's well organized, but I want to push you a little bit more into this like cohesive design aesthetic.
Cool.
All right, cool. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Who is next? Somebody else had put their name on the list.
Yeah, me.
Who is that? Sorry, who's me?
Joseph.
Oh, Joseph. Oh, there you are, Joseph. Nice. it's hard for me to find who's talking sometimes on the grids here.
Oh, no worries.
All right, Joseph, let's go ahead and bring up your project and let's share it. Let's talk through it.
I am doing a construction company.
Okay, thank you for the introduction.
They specialize in home renovations, so they don't do like really big projects.
Okay, good.
So the home page.
You can kind of talk us through what we're looking at a little bit and take your time to sort of talk us through it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
So the home page, little contact us button that'll redirect you to the contact page. Just quick little snippets to show you how many projects they've done, their years of experience.
Excellent.
Picture the owner.
Great.
And then just a little about us section.
Excellent.
Services they offer. It's not interactive, but I'll get to that.
The carousel. Yeah. Good.
And then the idea would be like the images would switch here, but yeah, another button to redirect you to the contact page, and then the footer.
Good, good. Well organized.
And then sorry, it's loading.
It's okay. Take your time.
Oh, I guess I had to scroll back up.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, and this would be like their services page.
Okay, good.
Just like saying their motto again that I had on the home page. Their services, and now it's kind of just like a scroll, not a carousel post.
Okay, extending it out. Great.
Yep, and then contact us, redirect you to the contact page, and then back to the footer.
Good, good, excellent.
This would be the desktop.
All right, good translation there. Yeah, responds really well. Okay, you can scroll through this pretty quickly since we're familiar.
Yeah, it's the same jazz.
Good. Good. It's clean, it's professional. Very, like, to me, it's very real. Excellent.
And that's what we got for now.
Perfect. Thank you. And all right, so let's start with our mobile home. And I'll start giving you some feedback that I've already noticed. First of all, awesome job. Like, this is, to me, a very like believable, relevant, professional design and user flow for I feel like for a business like this. So great job on that, Joseph. I think you've done incredible job. The other things that yeah, same here, Shaver. The other things that I really like that you have chosen is you've chosen an overall color palette that kind of hints at, you know, maybe like sustainability and environmentally like conscious approach to building. So not sure if that's what they do, but I'm getting the sense of that, especially through the color palette. It feels very environmentally thoughtful. It's approachable, it's friendly. So great job on the shades of color. I also really like the font you chose. I like sort of the geometry of like the headline font in the way that it has certain characteristics to it that I think also complement the logo, but just it feels sort of like structural. So great job on the font choice too. Go ahead and scroll through this for me. There you go. Kind of keep going. So I also think that you chose photography that is welcoming, it's connecting. I love that you have the owner right here in the About Us because it is a people business, right? when you're investing so much money into like renovating your home or building a home, which I know what it's like, there's a lot of trust that has to be in that relationship. And so I like how you're putting this owner right on the home page. And it's like, boom, here I am. The only thing I would do here is I'd put his name here, man.
Oh, okay.
I would go about us and then have his name. This is so and so, founder, right?
Mhm.
Um, established 1999, something like that. That really adds kind of an extra layer of like, um, just believability and also trust that this guy, whatever his name is, Joseph Durant, right? His name is Joseph Durant, and he founded the business in 1999. So he's been in business for decades, and I know who I'm going to be working with and who I'm going to be doing business with. So I'd put that right up front, man.
Okay, yeah, that's good feedback.
I also would say like there might be a button to go to an about page because most likely there probably would be an about page that would talk about the business a bit more and introduce the team and then also have like some information on how long they've been in business and things like that. So I would include a button or a link that would go into an about page.
Okay.
So keep going. Services, I think this is great. Right up front, a simple carousel. Now, the only thing that we're missing here is I'm not sure if I can click on these and go to bathroom remodels. Is that a possibility? Do you
Yes.
have a specific page for this service? Then I feel like that there needs to be a little bit of an indicator that I can be able to click more.
Okay.
Keep going. With this, I think this is a great section here. The only thing that feels inconsistent is you went and did a drop shadow on your text, and you're not doing drop shadows anywhere else. So I would suggest don't introduce something like that when you haven't used it in other places, which I don't suggest. I think the way that you've designed your other like sections and modules are really good and clean, and I wouldn't suggest bringing in like drop shadows at this
Okay, yeah, I was honestly I was on the fence about that, but then I was
point.
just scrolling through images to see which one wouldn't clash with the text color. But
Yeah. So just
yeah,
yeah,
I
you'll
think
have to explore
a
that a
different
little bit more.
photo, right?
Yeah, just explore a little bit more. Let's see here real quick. Yeah, great. Yeah, his color usage. So, and now go to that secondary page for me real quick, please. Scroll to the top. All
Yeah,
right. So
drop shot.
here, I love like this image is clean, it's professional. You have this large header going across. The only thing though is I would make this title case where the B in build is uppercase, the U in you is uppercase, the R in relax is uppercase. So it feels like a headline.
Okay.
So we build, and then also, I feel like that you either need to have a comma after build or maybe a period, like because you would read it, we build, you relax. So I think in like if we think of proper punctuation, those are different statements.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So you just need to think about like how you grammatically or in a correct punctuation be able to break those apart.
Okay.
So it
Gotcha.
reads better. Okay. Go ahead and scroll through. This looks great. You might want to bump up your font size in that body copy. It looks a little small to me.
Okay. Gotcha.
Good job. And it's going to be the same thing in the services that I said on the home page. I need to know if I can click to go to these interior pages. Okay.
All right.
Other than that, you did a great job. Really good use of photography, great use of color and typography. Your layout and your flow of your pages work great. So excellent job. Does anybody have any additional feedback for Joseph?
No, other than the fact that it's all amazing. Mobile is clear and concise. It's clean. If we could go back to that desktop view, please, and like scroll through it. Yeah, that looks really professional. I would absolutely trust these people with whatever job they're gonna do for me.
Yeah, it's definitely an immediate like professionalism,
Very strong.
very strong.
Sweet,
Your
thank you.
photos look like you got them from their website.
Oh, I wish they didn't have good web. They didn't have good pictures. I think I went on Unsplash and Pexels for these.
Good. Good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet.
I mean, that's okay to do it at this point. You're going to try to sell them into investing in better photography, right, Joseph?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know these people?
No, I just
Oh, okay.
just wanted to
For some
pick.
reason, I thought you had said it at the beginning that you knew these guys.
Oh, no, no. I knew the other company that I wanted to pick, but I
Oh,
guess
okay.
their website was much better than this other site.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, great. Thank you for sharing, Joseph. Good job.
sweet. Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Somebody else have the name on the list?
I have my name down.
Maya? Okay, Maya. Let's do it. And then I think we'll have time for one more person, okay, for today?
Can everyone see them?
All right. Yes, I can. Shelter Island Medical. Let's take us through it.
So this is the mobile hero.
Mm-hmm.
I lightened up with a little off-white and then
Oh,
scroll
yeah.
through to see their main.
Yes, 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 yes.
And then you can scroll down and then scroll through to see all the doctors.
Yes.
And then here's the
Great
first.
improvements, Maya.
Hearing your feedback, I don't know if you can tell that you can click on them, but if you click on one, this will be like my detail page. It opens up to more
Excellent.
information on a specific doctor. So there's their picture, a little bio about their education and specialties. And then this is a video that you could click and it would be ideally like the doctor talking. And like, I don't know, I feel like that's important sometimes to just see people's personalities through video. And
Oh,
then there's a
absolutely.
call to action, become a patient at the bottom, and footer again. So that's the mobile. And then this is desktop. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Services. Ideally, you'd press those little orange buttons to go further.
Yeah.
Care team, the footer. And again, you can click on the doctor and open up information about her. And then I forgot to put the footer on this one, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got going.
Maya, good job. What a great progression of your designs. Just again, overall, like I think that from the feedback that I remember us talking through with just the hero section and going down this path of these bold, detailed images that we had talked about. This feature area could rotate out, right? You come on here
I
and
have those, I just didn't
yeah.
really include them.
I remember though. I recall. Can you go to the mobile version of your homepage real quick for me? Yeah. So again, I'm just looking at the mobile versus the desktop. It just, it's so unique. It's so personal. It just grabs my attention. This feature area, and I just get this essence of like care and nurturing. And I think that's so important of representing the care and the nurturing of a medical facility that it's about also the tenderness that that people should have for their patients, right? There should be that care and that tenderness. And I feel it like everything from this imagery and then scroll down to the doctors down there. They just feel very approachable. They feel welcoming. They have a soft look to them, a friendly look to them. And I'm getting like all of this vibe and the color palette that is very unique. So to me, like for somebody that has experienced different medical facilities and everything, you have really created an overall design aesthetic that again feels very welcoming, it feels very nurturing and tender, and also unique in the space. So awesome job. Like really, really
Thank
good
you.
job. I also like these type of organic shapes. I think that these are unique that frame the different content that we kind of step through and we work through that I think works a lot better. So the homepage and the way that you approach this stuff works great. But now go to your doctor page real fast. This is where I'd like to see some of that thinking brought into this page a bit more. I feel like that I got these really unique design elements in these shapes, but then now I got into this page and now it's just hard lines that I miss. Like I miss some of those round elements that you had in your home page that now I don't get on this internal page. So that's my feedback for you to consider whenever you like kind of maybe rethink this a little bit is to create the consistency in between those design elements and those shapes that you already introduced me to.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, also, like on your homepage, on your feature, don't add the transparency to your button colors. Just keep them the solid colors. Like, I don't think you
Okay.
need to do that. I really don't. Like, just stick with that solid color. I love it. It's vibrant. It's warm. It also has enough contrast in it. I don't think you need to add transparency to that kind of stuff. Okay,
Okay. That's good.
Donna.
A small thing too, I think that you could totally go in and change all the areas that you used white to the off-white to like the creamness, just so like it could all be one white, if that makes sense. And
Or
also
like
the
off white.
cream
Yeah, the
white
off.
is really nice.
Or are you suggesting her go with white or the off white?
Off-white. Like right now, the logo Shelter Island Medical, that's in pure white, right?
Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah, like
agree
if
with
you changed it to the off-white, it would look more cohesive.
I agree, Donna. That's a good call. I'm glad you pointed that out because I was thinking about that too. So let's minimize your color palette, Maya. I think overall, look at your color palette and go, okay, how many colors do I have? And I agree with Donna. I would replace anything that's white with this really nice warm off-white.
Okay. That sounds good.
Try that. So it would also be in that little play button, right? That wouldn't be white. That would be like that off-white. So in like just overall, just kind of embrace that color palette.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I tried that for some areas.
Sure.
I just didn't love how it looked, but maybe if I did it to like the whole site and then re-looked at it.
Yeah,
Look
give it
better.
a try. See how it works.
Okay.
Great job. Does anybody else have any thoughts, feedback, congratulations?
I do. Oh, let
Excellent.
Joseph go first.
Okay, so
Joseph, thank you.
yeah, I think the site looks good. I like that you changed the whites to an off-white. I like the images you used. I like the super zoomed in on your homepage. That's really nice. Um, could you scroll back to the homepage where it's showing the doctors?
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, right there. So I was thinking like maybe if like the doctor's name is a little longer, it's gonna clash a little with the frame, and it looks like a little close to the edges. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was only.
I agree, Joseph. I'm glad you pointed that out because I thought about it too. Remember that comment I always talked about, my visual tension. So you
Mhm.
want to try to avoid visual tension, and that's what Joseph is talking about. So what I would suggest is stacking. And you would say Anna and then Gomez. So you're stacking the first and the last name. So you're not getting that like that visual tension of the names getting so close to the edges. And you may,
Yeah.
yeah, you may have to like bring the photo down a little bit or even increase the height. You know, you have a little room of the shape to increase the height of the shape to be able to stack the name. So good suggestion, Joseph. Thank you for calling that out.
Yeah, I was reducing the size of it and I just didn't even think to stack
Mhm.
them. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Sometimes just, yeah, collaboration here. Anybody else? Okay. Maya, great job. Thank you for sharing. Great
Thank
progression.
you.
All right. So did we have somebody else that was next?
Think I am.
Okay. Melinda, great. I think, yes, we have plenty of time and let's share. Let's see what you got.
Um, like I can't get the mobile to show up and the desktop to show up in presentation. Like it just keeps getting stuck like this on mobile.
Okay, then that's okay. Just share what you can, okay? Whatever, yeah, what works for you.
So here's my desktop, and I was trying to focus on typesetting, and then it goes into they
Mhm.
have their website is mysmile.com and their business name is Dental Expressions. So it was a little hard to figure out how to get them together. So I decided to try to separate them and make my smile more of a standout like phone
Mhm.
feature.
Sure.
And then my button system is these little oblong buttons with little drops on them, and
Hmm.
they're just like positioned to things. And then I
Great.
made all the graphics, the little lip graphics, because I was trying to go on this angle of expressions are different and people are different. And then their main focus is the Evade system that their head dentist that passed away actually invented. So I just go directly from your first visit into their safety and then the text that he wrote up. And then there's a learn more about it button. And
Right.
then I got into like just making some little hand graphics about the customer reviews to make it more personable because their main like branding is a lot about like they treat everyone like family and they're very laid back casual, but they have like high end like finishes. So I was trying to blend the two. And then it just goes into the contact and a active button that you could click to call for on
Mhm.
mobile. And I don't really know how that resonates to like desktop because I know some people can call through their computer. So I don't really know if that would be something that you'd only apply to mobile or if you'd
Yeah,
keep it on
it
phone.
probably would only be active on mobile, yeah, from my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so that's my set footer, and then that goes into this is the first visit page has the same typesetting fed up, and then there's their little blippet about I can't remember the title they gave it. Something about like just kind of like the like cancellation fees and things like that.
Yeah.
And then I just made a little graphic system, kind of like a 1 through 6 step, but
Mhm.
so it's like they have a shade structure with private parking. They have refreshments, an area for children. And then I didn't really know what to do for like during the service to like describe their things. So I at least just put in like a nice chair thing, and then
Mhm.
they have insurance financing options, and then they're really into like pushing like text reminders and like email reminders, and that's the footer again.
So
I can try to see if I, oops, get out of there. Can't see if I can share the mobile on. Oh my God, I can't even get in
If
anything.
not, I mean, if the mobile is not cooperating, then we can definitely just walk through the desktop for you, okay?
Is there we go. No,
Great.
I like can't get it to scroll. I don't. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
There's mobile.
Mm-hmm.
I fit that like that. And then it just goes into the first visit.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. And I just stacked the lips,
Mm-hmm.
innovating safety.
Yep.
There's their video. And just kind of did it more potentially spaced out too much. And then that with the gradient.
Mm-hmm.
I know I could probably work on the placement. Yeah, I don't know why, like it shows up and then it doesn't show up. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. Yeah.
So there's that.
I absolutely just love how inviting, unique, and just kind of playful and happy the overall design is. The dentist office experience can be very intimidating for a lot of people, right? A lot of people hate going to the dentist. It's just no fun for a lot of people. But I think the overall design aesthetic and the color and the typography, and then kind of the playfulness of some of your design elements and things like that really like give the sensibility of like, hey, look, you can relax. Like this is going to be a nice place. We're going to take care of you and we're going to try to make this the best experience possible. And that's what I'm overall getting from the design aesthetic and the design elements. And I think that you've done a great job with sort of communicating that vibe. And so, Melinda, I want to say great job on that. Like, and then a lot of the custom
Horrible
things that
design.
you've done.
I'm
What was
sorry.
that?
I was having so much troubles trying to come up with the concept. It took me weeks and then I finally figured it
Well,
out.
yeah, and that's what it takes sometimes. Sometimes you're at the last wire and it all clicks, right? And then you're just
Yeah.
able to just get it. But I think like with the imagery, I think the imagery is very fun and unique and fresh. The way that you're utilizing typography and some of the design elements are also very fresh. So again, overall, I think you've created a unique like design sensibility for a dentist office. So congrats on that. Joshua, yeah, go for it.
This is a really huge step from what you showed me, Melinda, like of the official site, because the original site was just an absolute mess. It was so outdated, and what you've done here is phenomenal. It's actually refreshing to see this design for a dentist office, and it actually does give that
Great.
sense of like welcoming and warmth.
Thank you. I was trying to hope the gradients were gonna kind of like bring that in. I was just studying
Oh
so
yeah, they
much
do.
things to create that environment.
Yeah.
It's just like those Figma tutorials like saved my life.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Do me a favor and hop over to the desktop so we can kind of look at the home. Just because I really like the home quite a bit. It's so. Or you can just scroll through it in mobile too, whatever works best for you.
I'm so slow at all this. I'm so sorry.
Okay, take your time.
This thing just can't get this menu bar to get away from the Zoom call. There we go. Oh, maybe I can't do anything. Oh my gosh.
I think you chose mobile again instead of the desktop. So if you go to prototype settings right there, scroll down to keep going like MacBook Pro 16. Try that. There you go. See that? So the reason why I wanted to look at it from here is just because I can see like these images and did you like create these images using AI?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Did
took a
you?
second. Yeah.
Yeah, great job. Like
It
what
was
a
hilarious.
yeah, it's awesome. And the thing that like you created this consistency, but also this variation in color. And I'm just stoked like what you did here. Like it's fresh, it's unique. Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun. So big smile, that's our passion, right? Go ahead and scroll through. I also like the small little design elements. So all of that stuff is working. Now, as far as like some feedback on some subtleness,
Yeah.
it looks like that you're adding kind of little drop shadows to some of the typography. Is that right? Like for my,
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessary. Like I really don't. Like I think what it does is, especially on the lips and things like that, it's kind of creating this little vibration in color because honestly, all you need is like the brown on the background color or the color of the lips, whatever color that kind of dark pink right on the background. And you like it's creating sort of this like kind of weirdness and vibration that I don't think you need that drop shadow at all.
Okay.
So I'd explore removing it.
Okay.
Keep scrolling. I like the boldness of the typography. Keep going here. I like how you lead with this video. Oh, this is what I was thinking. I don't think you need so much copy here. I would only like have maybe scroll up a little bit. No more than 2 paragraphs. I say just 1 paragraph. The home page, people are scanning. They're just skimming. So just give the first paragraph and then the link to read more.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's all you need on the homepage. I like what you're doing with the testimonials. Again, I think that's playful and fun. So good job with that. All right, cool. We're down to the wire here. We only got a couple of minutes, so I want to be able to close this off. So thank you so much. I want to recap everything that we've done. You got some great feedback over here on the corner, Melinda. So again, thank you everyone, all you brave souls that shared. It was all great. For the rest of everybody and everyone, make sure that you submit all of this project today, please. And if you feel like you're not able to, please send me a personal email explaining that what you didn't get a chance to finish or anything like that. Okay, please. I do need that because we need to move on to the next project, and the next project is a lot. So we need to get this project wrapped up so you can have it all complete and you can move on to the next project. Minna.
How many projects do we do in this class?
We had stated from the very beginning, there's 2 projects. There's the corporate website and there's the e-commerce website. And then there's
Only.
the assignments that fall within each project.
So 2 projects. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, 2 projects with multiple assignments under each one.
Cool.
And if you need to, go back and refer to the first lecture, okay?
If I need to,
If you just need any more clarification on it.
oh, like what we're doing next in terms of like assignment.
Well, what we're actually doing next was in today's lecture too. So this project, I'll just go over here real quick. Just to reiterate, this project is an e-commerce project that we talked about. And the assignment is a creative brief and competitor analysis and mood boards. So that's, and it needs to include, you need to think about like when you're selecting your e-commerce brand for your project, you need to consider what is the product category, the descriptions of your project. You need to think about price points. You need to think about your target audience. And during, your naming phase, like right here in this naming phase, when you're brainstorming your name, you need to have a long, like a list of ideas of names, and then you need to pare it down to a short list, and then you need to test that short list, like I mentioned in the lecture, and go on to Google and do some research and testing based off of that.
So, um, do you
Does this,
state how many you want, or just
well,
whatever?
you need to only have one name. So this is, I walked you through the process of coming to one name. So
Oh,
this
okay,
is,
okay. So
I
that's
walked
what
you
this
through
is.
the process of it, but you need to have one name for your e-commerce project. And that e-commerce project, going back here, oops, this describes what we're expecting for this e-commerce. So if you have any additional questions, you'll have access to this lecture. Go back through this lecture, and you'll also have the video. Now, I think, Josh, you had mentioned, do we have spring break? Man, that's a good question. Yeah, do we have spring break? Is that next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this week's the last.
Yeah, it's next week.
Okay, so we have all of next week off.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so good. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this. So yeah, since we have spring break, thank you for that reminder. I appreciate that. It's hard for me to keep up with this stuff sometimes. So then what we're looking at here is we don't have next week, right? And that would be the 31st and April 2nd. So what this assignment, creative brief, competitor analysis, and mood boards, I'm going to update and will be all due on, I don't know, I'll have to decide whether or not it'll be the 7th or the 9th. All right. So that includes the name of your brand, the creative brief with the name of your brand in it, the concept overview of what the concept of this e-commerce brand and project is going to be about. I know we're going over, but give me 1 second. You need to include your target audience. You need to include your project constraints in that creative brief. And then it's the same format as the prior project. Use the same format. The competitor analysis is the same format. The mood boards, same format. Your creative brief is the same format. So there's no need to reinvent that. Just use the same format that you used before. And if you have any additional questions, just send me an email. And I will be available over spring break. So if you do need any questions, just go ahead and shoot them over, and I'll be glad to answer them to the best of my abilities.
Do you do we when you grade this assignment, do we have an opportunity to fix it more, or it's just done?
Well, I mentioned today is the final. I've been saying that for
Okay.
weeks. So if you needed to make updates, those updates needed to be complete by today. And I know I was very clear about that. I've been talking about that for a week.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I just
the corporate design project is done today. It's done. That's it. So all of that stuff needed to be completed today. And I know I was very clear about that, especially even on Monday and last week. So I want that project done, and we need to move into this next project. Carolyn? Yeah, go for it.
I submitted, but based on what I saw today, I'd like to make some changes, but I did submit before 1 o'clock. Do I have the opportunity to submit before midnight changes, or is it like today?
Yes, today. Yes. If you
Okay.
need, just get it done today. That's okay. If you utilize these next few hours of the day to be able to complete, I'm not going to be a hard ass like that.
Okay, cool.
But just today's date, you got the rest of the day to make any changes that you need to. But today is the final day of the corporate website design. I want to be able to complete that, finish it, and move on. Just like a real project would be. All right, thank you, everyone. I'm proud of the work. I'm proud of the collaboration. I'm just, yeah, I'm looking forward to this next project. So have a great day. Have a great spring break. And I will see you on what day? What day is that? That's the 7th, April 7th. I will see you then. But again, I'll be checking my email. So if you need to send anything over, go ahead.
Thank you, Professor.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
We appreciate it,
Adios.
Paul.
You betcha.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you.